2. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the 1357 podcast. My name is Morgan Yonge, and I am so grateful you are tuning in to another episode. I have a really fun one for you today. If you're not watching, you're just listening, you should see my outfit. It's so cute. I am dressed and ready for Burning Man, and this is an episode where I'm just hanging out with you guys, giving you my pre-Burning Man notes, if you will, my pre-Burning Man 1357. And so a little bit about the 1357 podcast. 1357 is what we would chant. I was a cheerleader for 20 years, and during the pyramid, we would all chant 1, 3, 5, 7 as a way to keep all the cheerleaders in sync and motivated and connected as a group. So that's my goal for the podcast, is to keep you guys motivated, in sync, and pushing through the pyramid of your life to your best self. And the structure of the 1357 podcast: 1 miracle moment, 3 questions, 5 tips, and then a 7-minute chit chat. So that's what I'm bringing you guys today, with Burning Man as the theme of the day. And that's because I leave in 1 week for Burning Man 2024. I'm so excited. So this is my 3rd time going to Burning Man, and it gets more and more wild every time I go, more fun, and I absolutely love it. So I'm excited to share all of my 1357 about it. Yay! So first, I want to show you guys my outfit. What am I wearing? I have big pink ski goggles on my forehead because if there's a whiteout, if there's a dust storm, because Burning Man is in the desert in Nevada, and it's in Black Rock City, which is like a pop-up city. Quite literally, it's just a desert most of the year, 11 out of the 12 months. And then for Burning Man, it's like a semicircle shaped city, and all of the streets are labeled A through K, and they have like times on them. So you'd have to pull up like a map of Burning Man to see what I'm talking about. It's pretty amazing how they set up the whole city. And once the city is set up, all these crazy camps are popped up all around, and about 70,000 people go every single year. And again, it is in the desert, so sometimes there's dust storms, and the playa, the dust, it gets, really wild, and you can't see, and you can't get dust in your eyes if you're riding around on your bike. Got to drop those goggles. And then I have a scarf around my neck that I put over my nose and mouth to make sure I don't breathe in the playa dust. It's not very good, especially if you have asthma. You can get what's called playa lung, and you get dust and stuff in your lungs, and it's not really enjoyable at all. You start to cough. What else do I have on? I have on a big fluffy pink jacket, and this is worn at nighttime because the desert daytime is super, super hot, and then at nighttime it gets pretty dang cold. So typical desert, and gotta wear the big fluffy cute jacket. And then I have on an iridescent top, super cute. I think everything I'm wearing is from Amazon. Don't judge me. And then my pants, parachute, iridescent pants. They're going to be really good for the nighttime there. And then I have my big platform boots from Amazon. Big white platform boots. They're nice and light. They're surprisingly light. And I got the same pair in black for this year. So now I have black and a white pair. And they got me around really well in the mud last year, because we had the big mud debacle. It was wild. It was like 3 weeks worth of rain in 2 nights. So there was so much mud, Burning Man 2023. Absolutely crazy. And luckily, these boots got me around just fine. I stayed right on top of the mud. I had to keep my balance a little bit because the mud would stick to the bottom of my shoes and harden. So it was like an extra 2-3 inches of platform, and then I'd have to go in the airport, let the mud harden, and then just carve it out of my boots with a hammer or a screwdriver or something. Crazy times. It was so fun though. So I want to hop right into my miracle moment. And this miracle moment was actually Burning Man 2019. And I call these the manifestation levels because at Burning Man, the energy there is so high because everyone is vibrating on an energetic frequency of love, of freedom, joy, their most expressed authentic selves. And with that energetic vibration being so high, that conscious collective of that environment is so high that high frequency is that of the frequency of what you are desiring. So the things that you desire are also vibrating on a certain frequency. And if you are vibrating at that frequency, you're going to attract that vibration. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you're thinking about it, speaking about it, you need it, it will show up if you're open and ready to receive it. And if you trust that it's coming to you. And at Burning Man, have that heavy trust because it will come. It will come. It's crazy. My miracle moment is I had a bicycle that I had just gotten from Walmart, and I was on a 6-month road trip around the country when I went to Burning Man the first time, 2019. And so went to the nearest Walmart, got a bicycle before Burning Man, and brought it into Burning Man, was riding around, everything was great. And then my legs started to chafe. And if you've been to Burning Man, you wear, some skimpy outfits sometimes, and you're riding around sweating, thighs start chafing, and you start getting a little rash. It sucks, honestly. The Burning Man booty is a real thing, and gotta protect it. And so throughout the experience, it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And one day I was like, you know what? I really need something right now to fix this. Like this, I'm over it. I need a solution. I was about to tie a t-shirt to my seat or something, but the second I thought about it and was ready to do something, I came around a corner on my bicycle and there was a whole entire stand of bicycle seat covers. All these fleece bicycle seat covers, literally made for what I was needing, and it saved my ass. Quite literally. So I'm so grateful for that. That was the manifestation number 1. Manifestation number 2 also has to do with my bicycle. I was riding around. This time I was by myself, and I like to just, peruse, see what Burning Man has to offer. Middle of the day, let's see what rabbit holes I can get down. And my bicycle seized up and stopped working. And I'm super far away from my camp. I don't know anyone around me. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look around. What do we have right here? I look around, and literally right next to me is a camp. And the camp is named the Old Man Complaint Center. So I take my non-pedaling bike to the Old Man Complaint Center, and I was like, all right, old man, I've got a complaint. My bike chose not to work right here. Anything you guys can do to help me out? And then they are talking amongst themselves. They're trying to figure some stuff out. They make a couple walkie-talkie calls. They're walking to the camps next to them. And then someone comes and picks me up with a pickup truck, puts my bike in the pickup truck, and then takes me to the camp for fixing bicycles. There is a massive camp just for fixing bicycles at Burning Man. And so I took my bike to that camp. I played around that area and waited for them to get it done. It took a little bit of time, but they got it fixed. They had it delivered back to the airport, which is where I stay when I'm there. And it was amazing. I got my bike fixed like that just by asking. Don't have to pay for anything because everything in Burning Man is gifted. So technically everything is free. You don't have any money in Burning Man. Everyone gifts everything, which is so cool. So they gifted me the fixing of my bike. It was awesome. My third craziest manifestation moment at Burning Man, and this was all Burning Man 2019. It was just such a cool time. It was like the last night there. And I was talking to my friends about how crazy it is that the second you think about something, it comes right into your hands. And we'd gotten, the second I get hungry, there's a grilled cheese stand right around the corner, or there's ice cream, or there's pizza. And they just have an abundance of food for everybody, and you show up at the right time and they give it to you. Wild. And then this last day, I'm talking to my friends. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. How in the world can I just think of something and it's given to me right away? Absolutely wild. And I'm like, you know what? Let's play with it a little bit. I want an espresso right now. I would like the universe to deliver me an espresso. Let's see what you can do, universe. I'm just playing around. And now I'm like more of a God Jesus girly, but back then I was really heavy into the universe. And I do think they are all one, they are all connected. So sometimes I interchange the terminology, but I do know that in my heart of hearts that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm so grateful for what he did for me on the cross, and I am saved. Okay, universe. I was like, universe, let's see what you got for me this time. And how do I get this espresso in the middle of the desert at 11 o'clock at night? And then I just said that out loud. And my friend Ryan, who was in the group that I was talking to, he looks around. He goes, hold that thought. And he runs over to his backpack and pulls out a Starbucks double shot espresso can and hands it to me. And in that moment, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like kind of tearing up right now just thinking back to that moment, because it was just a playful, like, I don't really think I'm getting an espresso right now, but let's just see. And then boom, hands me the espresso. Oh, the universe, God is amazing. Manifestation levels are awesome. So I can't wait to see what I manifest this year at Burning Man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so questions, my 3 questions. Question number 1, why do I braid my hair? And I get my hair braided so that I have really short blonde hair, if you've seen my other videos. And so I go to my friend Missy. She's awesome, lives here in Jacksonville, and her Instagram is Crown My Hair. And she put in these braids. So it's synthetic hair, and she ties it into my natural hair. It took about 4 hours, which is, it's a while for me to be sitting still. I can't even get my fingernails done because I can't sit still that long. But to get my braids in, it's worth it. So at Burning Man, you don't really have, I don't know, I'm not going to plug my hair straightener in. I'm not going to spend time washing my hair every day because you only get a couple of showers if you're there. You have to be really smart about how you shower because you have to pack out whatever you pack in, and that includes water and wastewater. You can do things to get the water to evaporate, but ultimately you got to take care of your own water and everything that you bring, because it's a leave no trace kind of event. So everything you bring in, you got to bring it out, and that includes your shower water. Bathroom stuff, there's porta potties there, so you can go use their porta potties and restrooms. You don't have to pack out your poop or anything like that, thank goodness. Okay, so the braids don't really have that many options to shower, so the least amount of times that I can wash my hair, the better. And I don't want to have to do my hair every day. So I wake up, my hair is already done. The playa dust, this is, it's the best way. The playa dust almost hardens the braids and makes them even more durable or firmer, keeps the oils down. I don't know. I just know my life is way easier at Burning Man with these braids. And it also looks pretty badass. I love having these braids. It's such a vibe. So they go with the outfits. And I just, it's my time of the year to fully express myself and play dress up and have a blast. All right, I'm taking this jacket off. I am burning up. It is not nighttime at the desert. It is daytime in my warm house. So, daytime, Burning Man outfit. Here it is. Okay, so hair. That is why I get my hair done, hair braided. Second question, what are the 10 principles of Burning Man? And so there are these 10 principles. I forgot to have them pulled up, so I'm going to pull them up right now. The 10 principles of Burning Man. And this is really what I love so much about Burning Man. It's a really well thought through structure to why we're doing all of this? Why do people go in the desert, set all of this stuff up just to burn it all down at the end of the week? Because that's really what they do. There's certain structures that they put up every single year, like the temple, the man, there's the folly, there's other massive structure. There's like a big cake one year. And then at the end of the week, after everyone plays and takes pictures and crawls all over these structures, at the end of the week, we blow them up, light them on fire, and then creates this huge controlled fire, and it's absolutely stunning to watch. And then it's really cool to see such a big fire and these like smoke tornadoes that get spun off of the fire. That's, just as cool as the fire itself. So it's pretty cool. All right, 10 principles of Burning Man. The first one is radical inclusion. Anyone may be a part of Burning Man. We welcome and respect the strangers. No prerequisite exists for participation in our community. So no matter who you are welcome at Burning Man. Principle number 2, gifting. Burning Man is devoted to the acts of gifting. The value of a gift is unconditional. Gifting does not contemplate a return or an exchange for something of equal value. Number 3, decommodification. In order to preserve the spirit of gifting, our community seeks to create social environments that are unmediated by commercial sponsorships, transactions, or advertising. We stand ready to protect our culture from such exploitation. We resist the substitution of consumption for participatory experiences. So basically, not bringing anything with logos on it, nothing that we have on, we want to be promoting another company. It's all about being present, and it's like a non-advertising space. We see advertisements all day, every day, and this is the coolest experience to not be pitched to for 1 week of your life. You're not being thrown all these, all this bait to get you to try to spend your money. You don't even have to worry about that for a whole week. And that's surprisingly so liberating. Like, you don't even think you need that, but it's amazing being there and not seeing a logo and not having to worry about pulling your checkbook out for something. So that's pretty cool. Radical self-reliance. Burning Man encourages the individual to discover, exercise, and rely on their inner resources. So making sure that you have everything that you need. People who show up and expect, okay, everything's free, and everyone's so nice there that everyone's just going to make sure that I am taken care of. That's, a nice mentality to have, but you're going to be called a sparkle pony. Those are the people who show up and expect everything to be handed to them and everything to be done for them, and they don't have to lift a finger. No, at Burning Man, it's, absolute all hands on deck, and everyone's willing to get up out of their seat and lend a helping hand wherever they can. That's the way we do it at Burning Man. So if you choose to see everyone working hard on something and sit back and go paint your fingernails instead, you're going to get away with it, but you will get called a sparkle pony. So we don't like sparkle ponies. We want you to have self-reliance and help the community because that participation. The next one, which ties right into that, is communal effort. Our community values creative cooperation and collaboration. We strive to produce, promote, and protect social networks, public spaces, works of art, and methods of communication that support such interaction. So again, making sure all hands are on deck, and then taking care of the art that is brought to the playa, because it's incredible. People work all year long on these art structures, and we go and we have the opportunity to play on them, but making sure that you're taking care of the public spaces. You're picking up MOOP, matter out of place, MOOP is MOOP. And so any trash you see on the ground is called MOOP at Burning Man, and we make sure to pick it up and pack it out with you. Civic responsibility. We value civil society. Community members who organize events and should assume responsibility for public welfare and endeavor to communicate civic responsibilities to participants. They must also assume responsibility for conducting events in accordance with local, state, and federal laws. So what they're talking about is at Burning Man, there are so many different activities and workshops that you can get engaged in. And they're all free, of course, and they give you like a little booklet at the beginning of Burning Man, so you can pick and choose through the booklet. Oh, I want to go be there at C and 6 o'clock at 5:30. And you're going to show up at 6 o'clock at C and 5:30 on the map, and they'll have this art experience where you can create your own pendulum, or you can create a necklace out of the playa dust. So that was something I did last year. A necklace out of the playa dust. You take the playa dust and they bring these massive microscopes. Like, are they microscopes? Yeah, massive microscopes. And they take the sun into the microscope and pinpoint it down to a teeny, teeny, tiny point, which is the playa dust. And from there, you can see that playa dust burning, and it turns into black rock, which is why they call it Black Rock City. And I created a necklace with the black rock from the playa dust being transformed by the sunlight, and I still have that necklace. And so that was an event that I did, and the civic responsibility is to make sure that nobody gets hurt and we're all staying within the lines of the law. Leaving no trace. Our community respects the environment. We are committed to leaving no physical trace of activities when we gather. We clean up after ourselves and endeavor wherever possible to leave such places in a better state than when we found them. So it's really cool at the end of Burning Man, they have all these volunteers hold hands and walk the premises of Burning Man from one side all the way to the other, picking up every single piece of trash or moop that you can find. They even dig a little bit and they make sure that any of the top playa dust is environmentally friendly, and they come out with this huge map after Burning Man to show which camps left the most waste. And then some of those camps that are in the red, they don't get invited back the next year. So it's really interesting to see that they are really, really serious about leaving no trace, or else we literally won't get invited back from the Bureau of Land Management. So it's really cool that they're so committed to keeping it so clean. Participation. Our community is committed to a radically participatory ethic. We believe that transformative change, whether in the individual or in society, can occur only through the medium of deeply personal participation. We achieve being through doing. Everyone is invited to work. Everyone is invited to play. We make the world real through actions that open the heart. So making sure that once you're there, you're not just staying in your little bubble, staying with your friend group. And this is one of the principles of Burning Man, is to take this opportunity and utilize it, because there's so much that Burning Man has to offer. And if you're just staying in your tent the whole time out of social anxiety, then you're doing yourself a disservice of growth. So participation, everyone is invited, and don't think that you're not invited just because no one told you where to go or where to be. Like, you create your own schedule when you get there and choose to go do something out of your comfort zone, because most of the time it's really fun. Last one, immediacy. Immediate experience is in many ways the most important touchstone of value in our culture. We seek to overcome barriers that stand between us and a recognition of ourselves, the reality of those around us, participation in society, and contact with the natural world exceeding human powers. No idea can substitute for this experience. And what that means is staying completely present and in the moment, and acknowledging that it is so special, all of these individual memories that we get to make at Burning Man, acknowledging that it is going to get burnt to the ground, and all you have are the photos that you've taken and the memories that you've created. And most of the time, those photos that you've taken don't even do the memory justice. So really living in the moment when you're there and appreciating it to its fullest because it's so special. I'm getting emotional again. Crazy. It's just such a magical place. It really is. All right, so those are the 10 principles of Burning Man. And so question number 3, why do I go to Burning Man? First of all, it is so magical. And I initially got invited because my friend Mark Dill, he runs the airport and has been running it there for, I think, 7 years now. And what I mean by the airport, it's not like a airport where you land on concrete or asphalt. It's literally these private planes are landing on the playa, and it's only from 3 surrounding airports, which is Burbank, Oakland? Yeah, Burbank, Oakland, and Reno. And so those are the only places that you can fly in from the outside world onto the Burning Man Municipal Airport. And so when I'm there, I have the pleasure and the opportunity to work at the airport. So the first year I did the manifest, which is basically weighing people's luggage and making sure that the plane can support the amount of weight that's going to be on the plane. And then this past year, I did passenger escort, which was epic. So I'm like the first face they see when they get off the plane, and I'm like, welcome to Burning Man, motherfuckers, let's go. And they get off the plane and I hype them up and I give them their luggage cart and I'm like, all right, take your shit, let's go. Because it's radical self-reliance when you get there that I don't have to carry their bags, they carry their own bags. I just help get them from point A to point B without getting hit by a plane. Really fun job. This year, I'm doing manifest again, and I'm also going to be a runner helping take the passengers from the terminal to the passenger escorts that will take them to the plane like I did last year. And also running papers back and forth, the manifest to the pilots and all that good stuff. So I'm so excited. I love working the airport. It's one of the highlights of being at Burning Man for me. So grateful for that opportunity. It pays my ticket and it pays for my shift pod, which is what I stay in. It's like an igloo style tent that has reflective material on the outside. So the sun doesn't sink into the tent, it gets reflected off. And it keeps it a little cooler in there. And then, okay, why do I go to Burning Man? So I go because I get access to my most liberated, my most free and authentic self when I'm there. The way that I'm raised and the way that we're raised in society is to be very mindful and monitored of how we are showing up in the world and make sure that we are showing up in a way that other people will accept it and we, do everything right by society. So I really I used to struggle with this feeling of being unable to express myself fully. And from being at Burning Man, I feel so much more free to be that wild, authentic self. That last year, when I came home from Burning Man, my roommate Becca, she was like, you're a completely different person. You're so happy and lighthearted and just a weight lifted off my shoulders, and she could tell. So, and it was funny because I wanted to get right back into work when I got home. I was feeling motivated. I had just taken 3 weeks off work last year. And so I got home and I had 2 days of like decompression, chill, and then I was ready to hustle and grind. And she's like, no. Keep that Burning Man mentality. Keep that feeling of lightness, that feeling of freedom. And then when you feel comfortable with that, then add your work back in from a place of assuredness, or a place of confidence and freedom, and not a place of fear and hustle and grind and push. So I'm so grateful that she kept me in that Burning Man mentality, and I've really tried to keep that vibe going this whole entire year. And I really do think it's changed who I am as a person. So grateful for that. So I go to tap back into my freedom and tap back into my most authentic, unleashed self. So I have my 5 tips for you guys today. And yeah, I'm very excited to share them. So tip number 1 is coming prepared. Really, really, that radical self-reliance is huge. So what does it look like to be prepared? Of course, having your safety precautions, but also having, like last year, I had a generator with me so that if I needed to jump my car or if I needed to plug anything in, charge anything, I had a generator, a power source, and I didn't have to go use someone else's energy. Having all the water that you need, bringing a certain amount of water every year is so pivotal because you have to drink a lot more water than you think you do because you're out in the desert. So ladies, we got to go to the bathroom sometimes, and it's desperate times and desperate measures. So having like a little pee funnel helps, and you can pee into a bottle if there's no porta potties available. That's, a silly one. But really making sure that you have every single thing that you need at Burning Man is so important. There's a bunch of YouTube videos that'll tell you what's beneficial, what you should bring, what you don't really need to bring. Like last year, I brought like a full-length mirror, which was super nice. I brought a big table that I could cook food on, my propane grill, make my coffee in the morning or make any extra food. I was actually like super over prepared last year, which was nice because it was the year of the mud. But weather's looking good this year, so should be much better. So survival, making sure that you have everything you need and then some in order to last in the desert. So one of the things I bring is the Camelback Hydro Pack. And so this is my little backpack. It's iridescent as well, and it's super cute. And I just keep everything in here. And then, of course, my water bladder. And that's super nice to have with me everywhere I go. Electric bicycle, highly recommend it. Because all that pedaling is really painful. So it's nice to just zoom all around Burning Man. Because Burning Man, they took a map of Burning Man and placed it over the city of Manhattan. And it was like the size of the city. It was huge. It even like overflowed a little bit. So got to get around, and e-bike is the easiest way to do it. So tip number 2 is the having the right mentality. So coming with a sense of curiosity and coming with the feeling of releasing and unleashing yourself. Really tapping into that self-expression. And what do I have written here? Acknowledge and release. So acknowledging who you have been and acknowledging who you want to be and releasing all of those parts of you that are keeping you from being your most authentic and free self. And that curiosity mentality is so important because there's so much to do there. And it's like the more curious you are and the less you're focused on just the survival, the more fun you're going to have and the more opportunities you're going to have to make some really cool memories. Tip number 3, allow time for the rabbit holes. So plan a whole entire day or like a 3-hour span where you go into the city and you have no plan. You haven't looked at the workbook or the program that day. You don't know what you're going to get into, but really use that manifestation and allow really cool things to happen. And talk to people. Go talk to strangers and say, hi, like, what are you guys getting into? I'm looking for something fun today. I'm looking for something crazy to do in this hour. I'm looking for art to create. What should I get into? And from there, the sky's the limit. You never know what you're going to run into at Burning Man. Tip number 4. This one's for people who are afraid to go to Burning Man or would just never go. They're like, I'm listening, I'm living vicariously, but that's not my style, not my thing, I'm not interested. And that's totally normal. If everyone was interested in Burning Man, it would not be fun. But it's fun because it's for those who really want to go and really want to show up and participate. And so for the people who don't want to go at all, I recommend finding what is your Burning Man. Is it an event? Is it an experience? Is it a hobby? What is it that you can do that makes you feel like you're the most free, authentic, unleashed self? And then you come back into your daily grind in your real world and you feel fulfilled. You feel like a new up-leveled version of yourself. What is that for you? And so I was talking to my roommate Becca about this today, and hers, we talked about it, is throwing and creating parties for the community. And when she throws an event or a party, it's huge. It's a banger. Like, she's an incredible party thrower. And it really does put people out of their comfort zones, puts her out of her comfort zone. So she's growing. She's learning so much through the process. And she's having fun, of course, throughout the whole entire experience, and gets to see it unfold and live in the moment of the party. So that is her Burning Man, and it's so amazing to see what happens to her and her shifts through the party experience. You can tell it really is her freedom of expression. It's awesome. So find what your Burning Man is my tip number 4. Tip number 5, having a best case scenario mindset. Shit's gonna hit the fan. So when shit hits the fan, how are you going to cope with it? And the way that I cope with my shit when it hits the fan is, okay, what's the best that can happen right now? I don't think about the circumstances. That's, of course I think about what can I do, but thinking about, oh no, why me? Or, oh gosh, I'm gonna be stuck here forever. No, you're not. You're going to live. You're going to get through it. You're going to find the thing. You're going to get the part. You're going to yada, yada. You'll figure it out. But enjoying the journey of how it gets figured out is the best case scenario mindset. So just like I did with the Old Man Complaint Center, I'm like, all right, you guys, I'm here. How are we going to make this happen? Can anyone help me right now? Because I don't have a plan. And relying on community. So that's my tip number 5, having a best case scenario mindset. All right, 7-minute chit chat time. I'm excited. I'm gonna tell you guys some stories. Stand by. I gotta get my 7-minute timer as always. 7 minutes on the clock, starting now. Okay, so I'm trying to think of stories that are safe for all audiences to hear, and I do have some, but there are a lot more stories that are a little more on the wild side. Burning Man is known to be like sex, drugs, rock and roll, like really fun, really wild, but there's so much to do there that is not sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's a lot of stuff around personal development, spirituality, meditation, yoga, acrobatics. Oh, the acrobatic community there is amazing. There's trampolines everywhere. There's acrobatic liras, which the hoop that I dangle on and perform on, the hoop that hangs from the ceiling. That's my favorite apparatus, and they have them all over the place at Burning Man. So I always try to hop on a lira when I see one. And they have poles everywhere, so you can hop on a stage pole and do some awesome acrobatics there. There's awesome acro yoga classes to take. It's so fun. I'm getting sidetracked down all these little rabbit holes. The mutant vehicles. So people literally work all year on creating mutant vehicles or different ways to get around Burning Man. And so there's like massive butterflies on wheels and an octopus that blows fire flames out of his tentacles, and a school bus that's been transformed into a dragon. And you go on these mutant vehicles and they have a DJ on them, and they're riding around, going to all the art pieces, going to the deep playa, and you can just go get lost and trust that you're going to make your way back, because somehow you will. It may be a little bit harder of a trek depending on the weather. So definitely check out the weather and make sure that like it's not going to rain or something, which is very rare. It was just a problem last year. But also with the weather, like if there's a really big dust storm that's coming through, you got to make sure all your stuff is like really nailed down well, and you're not too too far away from camp so that you can make it back to your camp through the dust storm. And that's also a benefit of having the e-bike, because if you're in the dust storm going against the wind, it's freaking brutal. What else is at Burning Man? Let me just give you guys an idea of some experiences. So there's bars all over Burning Man. Certain camps are designated bars, and they create experiences for you to do in the bars or get into the bars, or really cool drinks. And you get like 1 to 2 drinks per bar that you go into. And it's like a take what you can get kind of thing. So you might want to bring your own alcohol with you, because you might be mixing tequila with rum, with the vodka, with wine. So be careful with that. And at these bars, there was one that you go and you lay on a bed to get into the bar. So it's like you lay on this bed, and it looks like a car wash, like it has all these black curtains, and you go through the black curtains on the bed, and then you look up and you're in a tunnel, and at the top of the tunnel it's like all these LED lights, but then there's like clouds over top of them, and the clouds are like you're going through outer space, and there's all these noises and sounds or music, and you take this whole experience through this car wash on a bed kind of thing, and then it stops and jolts you, and you're in a bar, and you're in this whole entire other environment. It's like covered in fake plants, and you're just like, how did I get here? So that was a really cool one. Another one was like a confessional, and you have to, if you want to drink, you have to go to the priest and confess something, and then they give you a punishment for it, and you have to do the punishment in front of everybody, and then you get your drink. So that's a fun one. There's certain like spin the wheels, and you spin the wheel and you can get like a free hug or a free, they'll spank you. There's that, like I said, it's a little wild out there, and you can turn anything down. Like you have to have consent before you do anything to anybody, or you have to give your consent. I keep smacking this microphone today. Sorry, you guys. You have to give your consent before anyone can touch you or take a picture of you. So it's a very consent-based culture, which I really appreciate, because I have a lot of boundaries when it comes to my personal space. So I appreciate that, especially if people haven't been showering that much. I'm like, 6 feet away, please. Thank you. So how are we doing on time? Oh, I have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Okay. Gosh, it's like there's so much at Burning Man that is so incredible that I get almost overwhelmed when it comes to it, because it's crazy. Like there's every experience, every camp, everything has been thought out for the whole year for all of these camps. When you show up, you're so well taken care of, and so many memories to be made. All right, I am rambling. It was so fun the past 2 times I've gone, and I leave next week, and I'll be gone for 2 weeks. I'm flying out to Vegas. I'm being picked up by friends of mine who are going to drive me in, and I'm being hooked up this year, you guys. I'm spoiled rotten by my dear friends, John and Wendy. Thank you, guys. They are picking me up from the airport. They're bringing me an e-bike. They're bringing me a full-length mirror, because I said I really needed one. They're bringing me my bedding, sheets, blankets, pillows. I have unlimited showers with them. That's awesome. And gosh, everything I need, they're really taking care of it for me. They're going to bring me a cooler, so I have all my food. I'm being spoiled rotten, and I'm so grateful for that. So thanks, John and Wendy. I can't wait to have a blast with you guys on the playa. It's going to be so fun. Alrighty, I am out of time, and I am going to do a 1357 after Burning Man. So I'm excited that I'll share with you guys my 1357 from this year's Burning Man, my miracle moment that I'm sure is going to happen. I'll come up with 3 new questions, 5 new tips, and then I'll tell you a cool story about what happened at Burning Man 2024. So stay tuned for that. That will be posted in September. And you guys stay groovy. Don't forget, if you like this episode, give it a like, give it a comment. Let me know in the comments if I should go check anything out at Burning Man. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Have you been to Burning Man? Tell me a story. I want to hear if you would never go to Burning Man and why. So hit me in the comments with all your thoughts about Burning Man. And don't forget to turn on your notifications for the podcast. And then share it with a friend. Let a friend know that you want to go to Burning Man with them. Also, don't forget to like us on Instagram and TikTok at 1357podcast. And if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, if you're a creator doing cool things in this world, I would love to have you on. And you can come into this personal studio or we can do it virtually. But either way, let's chit chat. You can email me at 1357.pod@gmail.com and I'd love to have you as a guest. All right, you guys, thank you again for tuning in and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.